This is a short clip from one of my online classes, and this is a walkthrough of truck scenario 4. A few questions, and I'll upload Kahoots on this scenario very shortly. So, hope you enjoy, hope it helps. Stay tuned. So this is truck scenario 4, or truck case study 4, and this is Peter. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Peter was an experienced heavy goods vehicle driver. On his next trip, he was to deliver dangerous goods both nationally and internationally. What's dangerous goods by road?
We can only view you, by the way, just to let you know. I don't know if you want to see that.
No, that's fine.
John Paul's trying to talk, but it's muted as well, just to let you know.
Oh yeah, cheers.
Who's muted?
I was.
Oh, that's not a bad thing. You and your mouth, Matthew. Let's start again. Okay, this is case study 4, truck case study 4, or scenario 4, and this is Peter. Peter was an experienced heavy goods vehicle driver. On his next trip, he was to deliver dangerous goods both nationally and internationally. Dangerous goods by road is what?
ADR.
Exactly.
ADR.
Peter held the required training certificate and had 3 years left on his carriage of dangerous goods. How long does it last? 5 years. By road is ADR license. That ADR license, or certificate as they call it, is just like a credit card, like your CPC or your TACO. He also held certificates of professional competence, CPCs, in goods, passenger vehicles, and drove both types of vehicle for a living. So he's got all his CPCs and an ADR. Before arriving for work today, Peter completed a reduced weekly rest period. A weekly rest is how long?
45.
It can be reduced to how much?
24.
At the depot, he checked out his truck, which had 2 axles. What's his maximum GVW for a 2-axle?
18.
And a covered box body. What's the maximum width for a box body or a truck?
2.6.
2.6. So these are the questions that be coming up from this statement, yeah? From this scenario. When empty, the truck weighed 8 tons. Peter performed his walk-around check and cockpit drill. Peter was asked to drive the preloaded truck of packages and containers to a chemical manufacturing plant on an industrial estate about 25 kilometers away. Preloaded. I don't even know what that's meant. There's no way I would take a truck of ADR, dangerous chemicals and substances, without checking that myself. Later on, I'll show you a video of really badly packed dangerous goods, and you won't even believe it. Okay, so if that was preloaded, even if it was sealed, and I signed for it sealed, I wouldn't be happy with that. I'd want to see what way it was wrapped and packed and contained, okay? There's stuff going around on the roads out there, you wouldn't believe how dangerous it is. Stuff that explodes, stuff that burns, stuff that's absorbed through your skin, and once it's absorbed, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just a matter of time. You can wait 2 or 3 days now before you die. The customer disclosed the dangerous goods and Peter agreed to carry them. He looked at the preloaded packages of corrosive chemicals and found that they were labelled correctly. Can you remember what class corrosives are? We didn't really go into it. It's class 8. After delivery, Peter would bring back a tanker load with flammable liquids for onward transport to France. This would be his next job. Peter's transport emergency card, which disappeared about 9 years ago, contained the following information. Details of the cargo, basic personal protection to be used, the immediate action to be taken by the driver if there was a crash. Now this has been replaced by a thing called the instructions in writing. Like I said, this has been gone for about somewhere between 7 and 9 years. That's how crazy that is. Peter made sure that his truck complied with the regulations for transporting each type of goods. He also checked that the Kevlar plate, which is not called a Kevlar plate anymore, it's called an orange plate. You know the Heinrich maneuver? You know the Heinrich maneuver when you're choking?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he didn't invent that. St. John's refused to refer to the Heinrich maneuver as a Heinrich maneuver because he didn't invent it. What he'd done is he'd done a leaflet and he sent it out, and then he became famous for it, and it's named after him, but he had nothing to do with it. Okay, and it's something similar to this. This was Kevlar, or that's what it was called, but now people are just calling it an orange plate. Okay, so we all know what a Kevlar plate is, but it's referred to as an orange plate. Peter arrived safely at his destination and parked in a supervised area. He was given a tanker to take back with him. He checked the new vehicle for roadworthiness and found it to be fine. He also noticed that it had 2 axles, a tandem axle. He also noticed that it only had 2 axles. So maximum GVW on a 2-axle?
18.
18. At the weighbridge, the yard supervisor weighed the tanker and gave Peter a receipt. This showed that Peter was up to weight limit with his truck. Peter was aware that the load was an international consignment. Okay. The tank has special plates and markings to clearly identify the contents. That's placards. Remember the diamonds. It's a square turned on its side to look like a diamond. That would tell you the hazard of the materials inside. Peter checked that the symbols based on the classification of the hazardous goods could be seen on the tanker. Now it depends how many products and what they are to the way it's displayed. If you've more than one, you won't have more than one orange plate, so you'll just have a blank orange plate, and that lets you know that there's more than one in packages. But this is a tanker, so that will have a plate on the front with a UN number and a substance identifier, a plate on the back, an orange plate, and on both sides, and the placards are on both sides and the rear. But listen, that's too much detail, you don't need to know it right now. As he drove along the motorway, Peter skips on the intermediate gears. What do we call that when you skip a gear? Block changing. It's called block changing. It had started to rain slightly. He felt a little drowsy and decided to listen to the radio. As he searched for a good radio station, he did not notice that there was a crash ahead. Suddenly, he heard a loud screech and looked up. Unfortunately, it was too late. Peter slammed on the brakes, lost control, and the tanker rolled over. Flammable liquids began to leak from the tanker. Witnesses at the crash scene immediately called the fire and rescue services. Peter told them not to use their mobile phones so close to the tanker. The fire and rescue services arrived quickly before the tanker liquids had a chance to catch fire. Peter told them about the tanker's contents and led the onlookers to safety. Is it the liquid that burns? Is it the liquid that burns?
No, the vapors.
It's the vapour coming off the liquid that burns. That's what's so dangerous. When you spill liquid all over the place, you don't need to get a match near the liquid because the whole area is full of fumes. Soon a crane arrived to help get the tanker upright. Guard diverted traffic and the fire and rescue service cleaned up the spill. Luckily, no one was injured, including Peter. He turned over a petrol truck and didn't get injured. That's good. Pete would not be able to deliver the liquid goods to France. He was worried about the conversation he was going to have with the sender, and the guards, and his employer, and the emergency services. When he arrived back at his base, he told his boss that he would need a signed witness letter giving details of his rest days during the previous 3 weeks. He had his digital tachograph card and analog charts for the last 28 days. Peter finished work, went home and took a regular weekly rest period. He would contact the sender of the liquids in the morning. Well, no rush. He just tipped over a fuel truck and he's going to tell the people that sent it the next day. Okay. That's a bit crazy, isn't it? Thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. And like and subscribing to my channel helps other people like you find them. I'm Leon Clifton.